Well, I think it's about time we showed our first international management action of this Build a Nation save on camera. We've qualified for the World Cup in 2034 as a lucky loser with Northern Ireland. Now let's go and see if we can shock Brazil or sneak through against Mali. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 115 of this Build a Nation story, Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. Today we take a complete break from our focus on distillery as we turn our attention to the international side of our dual management job with Northern Ireland at the World Cup. We face Brazil and Mali in our two group stage games, as don't forget, we're now in the 48 team and 16 group World Cup era, so only two fixtures and one win might be enough to see us through. If you're looking forward to finding out if we can get it, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. I'll show you the squad in a moment, we'll go into our games, but this promises to be a great episode. Right then, having smacked a spider off the camera and no doubting changed my angle completely, let's go and meet our 26-man squad for this World Cup. We've got a few players who aren't playing regular football. As we mentioned, we've got a few that are over the hill, but we have got one of our very own in this squad. Neil Kane made his international debut in the second warm-up game, which we'll look at in a minute. A very decent goalkeeper and a good servant at Distillery, so well and truly deserved his chance. And unlike the other backup, and in fact the other two keepers in the squad, he's actually been playing regular football, which is a blessed relief for us. If we have a look at the rest of the squad, we have largely played a backup team in the second warm-up. We've got an ounce of quality in the first 11. I think what you see though, if we get them in star ability order, I think you see there's basically two squads here. You've got 8, 9, 10 players that are very good, that are our first team, and then the rest of the squad is a long way behind it. We have thrown in the youngster Cameron Thompson, who will add a bit of youth to this squad in the future, and the best player in the squad is now the 21-year-old fullback Monaghan. But there are some deficits and some areas we're really going to struggle when players undoubtedly retire after this World Cup. I'm looking at Jamal Lewis and possibly Charlie McCann in midfield as well. A few defenders likely to go in the shape of Baumer and Ballard. Ali McCann still hanging on as well. So it's going to be a lot of regeneration after this World Cup, and I'm not sure we've got the players to do it successfully at the minute. But let's have a look at those two warm-up games. We played South Korea and Syria. We won both of them by 2-0. I basically picked the highest placed team in the world rankings from each of the continents that was available. So South Korea were in the low 30s and we beat those by 2-0. We played our first team in that one basically. Connor Bradley and Jamie Donnelly scored there. And then against Syria, we played a backup team. We played okay, but we relied on the bench and Jamie Donnelly came on to score 2. We also got a debut to a few players in that game as well, so maybe couldn't expect the best performance. Incidentally, I feel I should mention that Windsor Park sold out for the Syria game but not the South Korea one, which I found a little bit odd, but there we go. Let's move on to the World Cup fixtures. We face Brazil today. The World Cup is in Japan and they have still got a number of superstars from their originals and a few very good young players through with it. You can see there's this little group of 5 experienced players at the bottom. Gabriel Martinelli and Vinicius Jr. still very much amongst them. You've also got Wonder Kid Hendrick, of course, who's still only 27 and is the superstar you expected. But then going further up, there's quality players everywhere. I mean, we have got 23-year-olds worth 100 on million. Fabio Neto, superstar at Arsenal. Gabriel, a left back, he's playing for Arsenal as well. And these players are on hundreds of thousands a week. They're ridiculous pros, quite frankly. So this is not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not expecting to get a result in this one. I think our main target has to be the Mali game. Now they're a little different. They've got 4 or 5 world-class players and then a lot of average ones. They've also got a much older squad when it comes to real players. And to be fair, as you might expect from the leagues we've got loaded, they've not been able to regenerate a huge number of players. So there's only actually 3 that wouldn't have been existing at the start of the game. One of them's at Bayern and looks pretty good. Another is not that great. And then the third one's only 17. But the rest of the squad, the greyed out players like the keeper, they must be fairly decent to have got onto a World Cup. And bar Musa Janippo, who's 36, the rest of them are in the early 30s and have a lot of quality still. So it's not going to be an easy game, but it's a winnable one. And that is going to be crucial for us at the moment. For now, though, the attention turns to Brazil. and I'm not sure this is going to be easy. We've fallen as kindly as possible with the fixtures. We've got the first and the last game in the group, which means an 8-day break between our games. But despite my efforts to keep people fit and get others into shape, we're really not in the best of nick at the minute. We didn't really have much of a window to do friendlies, only about, a week? So we didn't get the chance to get more than 2 games in. I could have stretched 3, but we would have risked injuries there. So for now, I'm going to go and pick my first 11. I think you know roughly what it's going to be. We'll be back in a minute to run through it and head into the World Cup with Northern Ireland. Well, yet again, I've got the luxury here of picking my best 11, or at least the 11 that have spent probably most of the last 2 years playing together. That is Morgan Hassan in goal, Monaghan and Lewis, the opposite end of the age spectrum when it comes to fullbacks, with Ballard and Hagan alongside them at centre-half. McCann and Ives, the established midfield two, with Albert Press ahead of them. And then Cian Clingan on the left wing, Connor Bradley over on the right, and Donnelly up front, the ultimate goal scorer for this team. When he doesn't score, we haven't got anything, because Morgan, the backup striker, still yet to score for the nation. Let's go and submit the team and get into this one. We've got Linfield's Mackie on the bench if we need a goal, but quite frankly, we've got to get a tune out of this team. 8 days off so I can play them and relax, but Brazil is going to be a hard test. Well, here we go then. It is 2 of the originals starting in Hendrick and Vinicius Jr. the skipper, with Gabriel Martinelli and Danilo among the subs. But a very youthful looking Brazil team and a very high quality one. But the pressure's all on them. What have we got to lose? Absolutely nothing is the answer. Let's go and get through to the first half and see what score we can get here. Well, a quiet 12 minutes, which is probably more than we could have asked for, as we try and keep it tight here. We're balanced. We don't play the quickest style with Northern Ireland anyway. We play to our strength, so they're in there, hit the woodwork with Santos, and Hendrick can't make the rebound. Jamal Lewis at 36 clears away, but he never thought he was going to get his moment in a World Cup. But he's getting it now, and fair play to him. He's retiring after this World Cup. This is his last action in professional football. It's one hell of a way to go out as they get down the right, Brazil. I'm imagining he might get skinned here. So the ball comes in from Sutelo, across to Santos, back to Hendrick. It's 1-0 Brazil. We can have no complaints. This game is a bonus, and the lads will just enjoy the experience. We've got to focus on the Mali game. Can we win that? Can we keep the confidence high enough for it? For this game, there's no pressure at all. Well, no expectation on this Northern Ireland side today, and so far, no sign of a result. Though we're 10 to the break, to only be 1 down, we're still in the game, which is great. As Press gets the ball here to McCann, wide to Bradley on the right. Nice little flowing move this, but we've not got close enough to their goal, as Monaghan gets it back to Bradley. Monaghan running off him, it's chipped into Press. Oh, he's nearly scored. Albert Press with the chance. Oh, what an opportunity. You're not going to get many of those against Brazil, and you have to take them when they come along. At half-time, it's 1-0. Brazil have dominated, as you can see. But that was the opportunity. I'm going to say to the lads, you're underdogs, and it's a battle, but keep going, because you're doing as well as you can. We'll keep an eye on Charlie McCann, because he's on a yellow card. No risk again ahead of the second leg where possible. And we'll try and get some of the younger boys on too, as Lewis. On the left-hand side of Ballard. At the moment, I'm still looking at, can we nick a point here? And I know that's a very ambitious plot. Later on in the game, we may struggle more. O'Donnelly's been released by Bradley. Jamie Donnelly, he very rarely misses chances for Northern Ireland. And my word, he has just put us level against Brazil. This is remarkable. Are we going to get Saudi Arabia v Argentina? I don't know, but what a moment for the Northern Ireland fans regardless, as Bradley heads the ball away to Donnelly. This is a team of world superstars playing at the top level on hundreds of grand a week. And we're trying to compete with them at the minute. It's not going to last for long, though, because Hendrick's just headed in. And with 5 minutes gone in the second half, we've already lost our parity. A good header from Hendrick, and to be fair, they deserve their lead overall. But we're competing well, and I'm pleased with that. As they get the ball at left back with a throw into Douglas, they're keeping the ball well, Brazil, and that would have been the thing if we were playing 2 in 4 or 5 days, that we would have run out of steam. As Hendrick switches the ball, we probably will in this game anyway, as Santos gets the crossing, does he? No. Monaghan back to win it really well. Up towards Bradley, and now Press. He can bring it away. Little jogger to Mike, apologies for that, as Donnelly's in again. He couldn't, could he? No, it's a good save by the goalkeeper. Out for a throw, I'm going to rest Charlie McCann. I'm a little bit worried about him, and I don't want it to get out of hand here. So, Aaron Hill is the regular man to come on. He's pretty good on the ball. He can't do much else. He's playing for Rotherham on 9 grand a week. To give you a bit of perspective in comparison, we've competed for good chances. Yes, Brazil have had more of the chances going forward. They've had more shots on goal. But we've created as many good opportunities as them. As Ives gets the ball to Bradley. Donnelly's running in behind. He's picked up a knock. That's a big problem. Now, I know this is a risk at 2-1 because he is a massive player for us and he's our only real goal threat. But with the Mali game being the winnable one, I cannot afford for him to be out. David Morgan has not scored for this nation and he's not that quick in behind, whereas Mackie is. So I think we're going to go for the Linfield man through the middle. He should be feeling pretty confident in theory because he scored bucket loads of goals for Linfield this year, but he's not really played through the middle for club or country. Linfield normally play with a proper target man through the middle and then the likes of him and McGuckin running off. Whereas here he's normally the only other option on the left-hand side, so he comes on there more often. On that thought, I'm going to take off Jamal Lewis for young Cameron Thompson, give him experience at the World Cup. He's actually rated better of the two, and I'm aware of the sub breaks as well, so I'm looking after him. Let's get the corner kicking. Can we find an equaliser? Oh, it would be miraculous, wouldn't it? As Ives is going to take it. In swinging delivery. Left footed to the front post. Bradley just over. There's the opportunity gone. Quarter of the game to go. 2-1 and a few injury concerns. Well, 10 minutes to go. And I think we're going to make the final 2 subs because we always have troubles with injury. So I want to make sure the fitness is right. We've not really got an option on the left wing. I could put Press out there or I can move Mackie and go for Morgan, which is what I think I'm going to do. Klingon off. Morgan up front. Mackie to the left. And on the right, Connor Bradley replaced by Kieran Cowan, who is probably the best backup in this squad. That means we've made 5 substitutions, but can we stay in this game? As Santos takes the corner to Nelson, off the line from Monaghan. We're clinging on for 2-1, but from a goal difference point of view, we're looking at having the best records as well. Losing this game only narrowly could be very important. We've actually had more shots on target. We've had chances to get a point out of this game. But we lost a couple of great opportunities and then we lost our star striker through injury. Hopefully he'll be fit for the next game. That is the only thing that is important to me. If he's not, I think we're out of the World Cup. If he is, it's all to play for. Let's go and see. Well, this is actually a bigger problem than we expected because Mackie, the sub-striker, picked up an injury as well. He's out for 2 to 4 weeks. So Mackie is out of the Mali game. And now we really need Donnelly to be fit. What's wrong with you? Tight calf, you should be all right. 1 to 2 days. So the star man is fit. The backup striker's gone. We are in big trouble. We have got to get the win. Mali is up next in 8 days' time. I'll try not to create any spoilers from all the club stuff going on before that. We'll be back in a moment for the second game as we play Mali for a place in the next round. Well, we are back and the landscape has completely changed in this World Cup group because, against all the odds, Mali beat Brazil and topped the group. Brazil do now not have qualification in their hands and we need to do a big check because is this group coming down to goal difference or is it coming down to head-to-head record? Because if it's goal difference and we win this game by a goal, Brazil could be out. I'm not even sure how it will work because we'll all be on 0. So let me just look at the rules, which I didn't think we'd have to do. We are going to look at the group stages. The league sorting rules are goal difference, goals scored, and results between teams. Wow. So with it being goal difference and goals scored, let me have a look at what's going on in our group at the moment. So as it stands, if we win this game by 1 goal, and not 1-0. So if it's 2-1, 3-2, etc., both teams score and we win by a goal, Brazil will be the team that go out because we'll all be level on goal difference and we'll have both scored more goals than Brazil. If it's not the case and we win by 2 or more, we're through. If we draw or if we lose, we're out, which is a shame because obviously Mali would have been the favourites to go out beforehand. They were the side we were aiming to beat, but they have beaten Brazil and thrown the cat amongst the pigeons. So let's go and have a look at the lineup, which should be exactly the same. The only thing that's happening today is that Mackie's not on the bench because he isn't fit. The 11 stays the same. The rest of the bench stays the same. And we've now got one very simple objective. Win by 2 goals, you top the group. Let's go and see if we can do it. Well, we know the Mali side is very experienced, and my hope is that having only had 4 days since the Brazil game, they'll be a little bit more fatigued. But they've got a good manager in place, they've got goal scorers, they've got experience, and that could work in their favour too. So let's just say we've got to give it our best. No reaction from our team whatsoever, which isn't a good sign. We've got the opportunity. And at this stage, if we'd have come into this and you'd said beat Mali and you're through, I don't think we'd be too unhappy. Yes, we're maybe a bit more worried now because they've beaten Brazil, but they're not going to be able to back that up, surely. One great performance from them, can we produce one great performance too? Because against Brazil, we did pretty well, but obviously not as well as Mali. 10 minutes gone, we've had the only shot on target, but no highlights just yet. I'm not sure we're getting that high-scoring thriller as Monaghan throws into McCann. Is Donnelly fit enough for the 90 minutes? That's going to be a big question too, as Connor Bradley gets it into Kian Klingon. Oh, it's a brilliant save. Sadibi tips it onto the post. It looked like it was going in the corner. It is now out for a corner on the left with Charlie McCann. There are plenty of options in the box though. Who can he find with a big back post delivery? Donnelly's up there. Musa Gineppo heads away. We mentioned him at 36. He was the man who scored the winner against Brazil. Still an important part of their team. A quarter of the game gone, still goalless. Well, oh well. Do you ever get the impression that luck might not be on your side because Connor Bradley, one of our best players, has now been injured? I guess the positive is Cowan is the best backup and he's still going to be a big threat out on that wing. Not the best delivery, but bundles of pace, and he should have an hour in him pretty comfortably. Let's go and get through, confirm the sub. It's still 0-0, it's still all to play for. If we win 1-0, I don't think it's enough. We go out on head-to-head record as Lewis gets the ball to Hagen. He plays it to McCann. Into press in the attacking midfield role. Wide to Cowan, the sub. What can he do with his pace here? He's got Donnelly in the middle if he can find him. Goes back to Monaghan on the edge of the box. He plays it back to Hagen. Down the line to McCann. He cuts inside. Big switch towards Klingon. Flick down for Donnelly. He's offside. Puts the ball in the back of the net. It isn't going to matter. It stays 0-0. This will be chalked off. And Mali, I think, are going to make it to the break. But signs that maybe their aging squad is just tiring in this one. The goal is ruled out in the end. Jamie Donnelly is denied by the offside flag. Well, at half-time, we have been the better side, but we've not created bundles of chances. I wouldn't say that it looks like an onslaught or that we could score at any point. We've not created enough to fill me with big confidence, but we're playing okay. We're going to encourage the lads, and I might well go a bit more positive as we get towards the end, as Torre gets the ball into Gineppo. Kamara with the cross, and Doe's up's a good header from Monaghan. Only as far as Guindo though. And Connor Bradley, what he also offered us was a great defensive option, going back from the right-hand side. Cowan doesn't do that. The cross comes in easily, but thankfully the shot is over. We're going to go more positive because we're being pegged back here, and we've got to score. It's as simple as that. Donnelly's playing poorly. He ain't coming off, I can assure you. With 20 minutes to go, we have got to make a move. I'm not really sure what to do here. Do you know what I'm going to go for? And I know it's different. I'm going to take Albert Press off and I'm going to bring on David Morgan. The man who doesn't score goals is going up front. Donnelly is a left footer. Right, he's going to play on that side of the two. We're going to put Morgan on as a poacher where he doesn't have to rely on his pace as much. He is going to be there and he is, yeah, he's all right at that. That's not a problem. He's quite good in the air too. I haven't really got any alternatives on the left because I could push Lewis forward, but that's not the right option. Klingon's one of the best players. I'm going to bring on young Thompson because he's great in the air, and we'll just save it for a few more minutes. We've got to push. We've got to try and win this game. But to be fair, Mali have been sensational defensively. Well, 5 minutes to go. We're creating nothing. We're finding it frustrating, and I don't really know what to do next. We've got nothing left in the tank, and it's a Mali corner. They're picking us off on a counter. Ives heads the ball away. Back into the box. Hagen heads clear. Klingon can't get to the counter. And if anything, they're finishing the stronger at the minute. They look so confident. They're picking us off on the counter. You would not have thought they've got a very aging squad. I'm trying to look at players who are motivated. Ballard's injured. We'll just bring on Balmer. He's motivated and he's got a threat from a set piece. And I'm also looking at attacking options. But it's where the squad is really light in terms of depth. And it would have been where Mackie comes on. I'm going to take off Ives for Ali McCann. He's composed. He's not nervous like Aaron Hill is. And he's got experience, which might just be enough. He's also going to go on to an attack duty. And we're just going to throw the kitchen sink at them. Callum will go on to an attack duty too. We're staying positive because when we went attacking, Mali started dominating the game. And if they score this corner, the celebrations will be with the Africans. And there it is. What a way to finish off. Morgan Hassan has made an absolute hash of claiming the corner. And a goalkeeper that doesn't play first team football had a rusty moment on the biggest stage. 1-0 to Mali. They have beaten Brazil and us to get through. Fair play to them. They've been excellent. But it is no points. It is 2 very narrow defeats. And unfortunately, we just didn't do enough. 6 points to Mali, who win both games, and Brazil go through alongside them. A disappointing World Cup, but it was a World Cup appearance nonetheless. And with a few players moving on soon, this is going to be very difficult. If there is a positive to come from it though, as well as being competitive of course, is that we have had a very big summer at Distillery. And we can now turn our attention to that, getting more transfer work done and getting ready for the European qualifiers next year, because I think you might be surprised at how many players we're going to be trying to move on. If you did enjoy that one though, our first international action, albeit not what we were hoping for, but a great journey to get to the World Cup nonetheless, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of our performance and how on earth we're going to back that up with an aging squad. And let us know what you think we've done with Distillery. If you want to find out and see our transfer special, it will be back here in a couple of days' time. Subscribe and turn that notification bell on to make sure you don't miss it. In the meantime, we'll be back with the head coach tomorrow. Big end to the season coming in that one. There's also links in the eye above to the podcast channel where there's loads of clips from Wembley last weekend and will be some from this Saturday too. Hopefully happy ones as a Luton fan. And there's also the Twitch channel up there as well for regular live streams. But thank you very much for watching as always. Your support is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you back here in a couple of days' time for a big new season with Distillery.